What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got more pickups to talk about. So I went out for a day at HMV and I had a kind of went there with a mission, kind of failed the mission. I went to HMV to pick up the 3 John Wick movies on 4K. Recently checked out the sequels of John Wick and absolutely loved them. I thought they were fantastic. So I really wanted to grab them on 4K, but unfortunately they didn't have the third one, and I want to get them all at once, so I just chose not to get the other ones. But I did pick up some other titles. Let's have a look. I picked up a couple of Arrow titles in HMV. These were on a 2 for 15 deal. Now, I scoured the Arrow shelves for more titles, and these were the only 2 titles in the deal, which is kind of odd. Maybe these are like leftovers from a previous deal, perhaps. But I thought they are fairly new titles. They both have slip covers, and they both sound fairly interesting, so I thought I'm just going to get these. The first one is called the Eldest Tapes. It's somewhat of a documentary about forgotten tapes of a band playing some controversial kind of music video or something along those lines, from what I've read on the back anyway. It's based in the early 90s. It's meant to be a very, very dark and disturbing look at a band basically kind of doing some really kind of questionable stuff. It seemed interesting. 2 for 15. I thought, I'm not going to leave it there. Let me just grab it. I love the artwork on the front as well. It's got a nice slipcover, you know, add to my Arrow collection. The next Arrow title definitely sounds like more so up my street. That is a film called A Ghost Waits. Sounds really interesting. Sounds like your typical haunted house story, but I'm hoping it has something a bit different to kind of separate it from your usual haunted house fare. But yeah, 2 for 15. Really nice slipcover. I love the pink and black there. Hopefully it's good, but 2 for 15. 2 Arrow titles, 2 for 15. You can't really go wrong there, I don't think. When you're looking to bolster your Arrow collection, you're paying 15 for 2. That's when you really can't scoff at that. As I went to the checkout, I noticed they had this title on 4K for $9.99 with any purchase. Not seen this film. I've heard that it's got a really big cult following in terms of a comedy that everyone loves. And that is a film called The Big Lebowski. I sort of know about this film, but don't know about this film at the same time. This film is almost legendary in its kind of cult status. It's got a massive following from what I know, but I've never seen this movie. I know it's meant to be a comedy, but that's probably why it's put me off all this time. I'm not really a comedy person in terms of actually being gravitated to comedies. But I thought for $9.99 on 4K, I don't think there's a better way to check this film out for the first time, so I thought I snagged it when I was there. So yeah, Big Lebowski. So those were my HMV pickups. I ordered a couple of things off of eBay. Now this next one is a 4K of a film that got very kind of mediocre reviews and a lot of negative ones as well. It's a Vin Diesel film that came out, I think 2020? Yeah, 2020. And it's a superhero film from Valiant Comics, and it is called Bloodshot. I had a fairly decent time with this film. If you're looking for a kind of no-nonsense, turn your brain off, by the numbers, sci-fi action, I think this delivers. It's literally Vin Diesel being the Terminator. That's basically the film. The story is quite unique in the way that, it's not exactly how you think it is. And it's actually quite interesting in that regard. But I think for a fun little sci-fi action film, I think it delivered for what it is. And I think I think people should check it out. I think it's a fairly decent one. The main thing I could say really about this film is it's harmless entertainment. You can have a good time with it if you just shut your brain off and just want just some dumb action. This delivers. Very similar to the Resident Evil films in that regard. Like, you want dumb action that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you don't care, you just want dumb action. Bloodshot will deliver that for you. I found the 4K for $6.99 on eBay, and it comes with a slip, so I just snagged it. Don't mind having it in my collection. Next up is a film that, when you talk about 80s horror, especially 80s vampires, when you mention The Lost Boys, there's a subsect of horror fans that basically direct you to another 80s vampire horror. and this one I've never seen before. And I found this German release with such a nice edition that I couldn't ignore it really. And that is a film called Near Dark. I absolutely love this artwork. It screams 80s and it screams synthwave all at the same time. Never seen this film. I've heard great things about it. Like I said, when you mentioned The Lost Boys, there is a subsect of horror fans that will direct you to this as an alternative. Hell, even if you love Lost Boys, I've heard people say, if you love Lost Boys, check out Near Dark. So I'm very up for this movie. It might be good, it might be bad. I'll make my own mind up, but I've heard nothing but good things. This is a really nice German Blu-ray. Comes with a nice slip box as well. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing what the transfer's like on this. But as a physical item, it's a beautiful set. So yeah, that is Near Dark. Next up, finally, I went to CEX and I picked up some cool ass shit. So yeah, let's have a look at what I got in CEX.
Get the films and games you want from CeX.
It's called CEX, you dick. First up, because I've not watched much anime lately and I wanted to add to my Blu-ray anime collection, I picked up a series called Old Noah Zero. I think I've pronounced that correctly. I could be incorrect.
Old Noah. I think that's how you pronounce it. Old Noah? I don't know.
Basically, this is a complete series and it was £6. I read the blurb on the back, sounded pretty interesting. I decided to buy it. For £6, I'm going to pull the trigger and take the risk because I do like my anime and this sounds like a really cool science fiction story that I might really enjoy. Kind of the same thing about this movie. This next film, the artwork sold it to me. And the actual description of the film, the blurb, really made me interested. And that is a film called Catch Me Daddy. Two teenage lovers who have basically ran away and one of the fathers of them sends bounty hunters after them. So it does sound like a really interesting film in my opinion. It might be utter shit, but it actually sounds really, really good. That artwork sold me as well. You don't get artwork on Blu-rays that good these days, like, holy shit, how nice is that artwork? Love it. But yeah, it just sounded really cool. The spine looks awesome as well. So let me know if you've seen this. Never heard of it before, but it was like a £5. And the artwork and the blurb on the back sold it to me. So I'm going to give it a chance. Next up in CEX is a sequel to a Roger Corman film from the 70s that is so bad, it's so good. And that is a film called Death Race 2000. That has David Carradine and a very young Sylvester Stallone in it. Now, Death Race 2000 is a dumb, pretty bad movie about this national race where you get points if you kill people along the way. It's ludicrous in the way the concept of it is. So, in all his wisdom, Roger Corman decides to put out a sequel to this, called Death Race 2050. This came out in 2015. I've never seen this. It's got awful ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm looking forward to another bad time. Hopefully there's a good kind of bad. I knew this came out in 2015. I've always wanted to check it out. I just never got around to it. So I'm looking forward to giving this a shot. Hopefully it's good, because at the moment the best Death Race movie is the Jason Statham Death Race remake, which I think is the best one. But yeah, really looking forward to checking this out. I hope it's the same kind of good bad that the original 1975 movie is, but we'll see, I suppose. Next up, I was really happy to get this. Been meaning to pick up this movie for a while because I remember my dad absolutely loving this film, and I do sort of remember the music from it. It's not a musical, but it's a film about music. I did get the 4K Steelbook edition of the Blues Brothers, so it comes with a J card, and then you've got a fairly flimsy box, which is a shame. I was hoping that it might have been more of a kind of cine edition style box, where it's got the hard box, but it's not there at all. I think the steelbook is beautiful. Absolutely stunning steelbook, I think. I just think it looks great. Really cool steelbook. Comes with both discs, the 4K and the Blu-ray. This was £22. I was actually didn't think it was actually a bad price, considering some of the steelbooks in CeX are really expensive. For example, the Godzilla vs Kong steelbook 4K steelbook in CeX is £38. £38, guys. Can you think? You can't make this shit up, honestly. You get a bunch of stuff, like you got a booklet with it. You got some art cards there. You got a poster as well, and what looks like to be the music cues, music sheets, or something along those lines. Can't really tell exactly what it is, but and maybe part of the script as well there. So I'm really happy about this set, and I think it's a really nice set. Just wish the box was a bit more sturdy. It's a bit of a flimsy affair with the outer box. I do like these steelbooks that come in an outer box. I think it just adds to that premium factor, especially if you're paying £30–40 for a steelbook. I can imagine this being brand new was about 30–40 quid. It just adds that premium factor. Just wish the box was a bit more rigid. It would have been much more of a nicer set if the box was not a flimsy cardboard thing. Yeah, looking forward to checking this film out. It's been many years for me. My dad absolutely adored this movie, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting it myself. But yeah, not a bad price for a 4K steelbook set like this with a really nice steelbook. And yeah, I just remember the soundtrack when I was a kid, you know, being fantastic. So I'm hoping I will like this on an adult rewatch, because yeah, my dad, you know, it's one of my dad's favourites from what I remember as a kid. So that is the last thing in my recent pickups, Hmv trip, CeX trip. Quite happy with everything. It's not a bad little haul, to be fair, this week. Let me know if you've seen any of these titles and if there's anything you would pick up among this that you actually would like to check out. As always, guys, if you're new to this channel, you would like to see more, maybe consider becoming a subscriber Runu and maybe subscribe. As always, guys, I have been Jason, and I have got some more videos planned for the future. Actually some pretty good ones. So I will see you next time.